Hello and welcome to the Saturday night stream of the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. Hopefully nobody got too confused by the URL. I accidentally hit end stream when I was just trying to end the starting soon graphic, and so the YouTube stream got a totally different URL all of a sudden, so that's what that was. Maybe start out with a little bit of the GeoGuessr since we haven't done that in a bit. And on top of that, I'm going to do something just a little bit different, because I have another channel. Okay, this is totally North America. Das nicht USA ist ein fleißigen Wesen. I have a channel dedicated to just language-related stuff that hasn't got a whole lot of attention. At the moment, it's up to just under 49 subscribers. And so I figured I would eyeball zone myself using my very small platform for an even smaller platform of just different content from me, and I'll show you a sample of the sort of direction that I've been taking. Okay, God, this could be anywhere in the US, fucking hell. Okay. Got a street name. Oh yeah, definitely the US. This is like the one time when the flag obsession of this country comes in handy. Martindale and Madison. Absolutely fucking useless street names there. Sounds like a law firm specializing in wills and trusts. Or maybe the relationship that happens after Martindale breaks up with Habel. Okay, is there any way out of this? I'm gonna say from the trees it's probably Midwest, but honestly, fuck knows. Okay, there's gotta be a main drag around here someplace. Chelsea Court and Parkdale. Okay, the fence kind of makes me think Southern, but not really. Suburban residential style is so identical everywhere you go between, like, Texas and Toronto. Okay. There's gotta be a main street coming up someplace, Jesus. Oh, thank you! Hello, Phoenix Rising. Good to see you. And welcome to this utterly identical suburban hellscape here. I bet if we venture further, there will be an Applebee's, a Frickers, a Frisch's, 2 McDonald's, a Chipotle, and a Panera. And a whole bunch of people who are with her. I do like to dye my hair dark. Usually dark red. Years ago, I used to get Christina Ricci a lot, actually. Oh, hold on. That was a business. They have a sign. It might actually give us a clue to where the fuck we are if it wasn't blurred over. God. Even that fucking sign is identical to, like, multiple places with the random capitalizations that I've seen. There's one of those around here, except this clearly isn't around here. I mean, actually, fuck, I can't actually even say that, except the street names aren't familiar. Yes. I considered it a compliment. Fuller paving. Well, it's better than, like, I guess, gappier paving. So I don't know if you were here for when I was talking about my other channel, which I'm going to show just a little bit of an introduction to some of the stuff that's on there. Just because that one just has, like, the lowest visibility of anything that I do. And I think if it were seen by a few people, it might actually arouse some interest. It's my language stuff related channel. So after this game, I'm gonna hop in there, show you a little bit of stuff from that. How's the audio, by the way? You hearing me okay? The music isn't too loud? God, this is endless. Like, where did these people have to go shopping someplace? A Hand to Heal Health Food Store, South Roan Street. 423 area code. Yay. Okay, 423. Never fucking heard of 423. 423 area code. Holy shit, okay, I wasn't too wrong. I said that, yeah, I thought it might be maybe a little bit southern Midwest, and 423 is the area code for Central Tennessee, north and south of Knoxville. It includes the cities of Chattanooga, Johnson City, and Kingsport. So, okay. So we have a general area then, okay? Proszę, Kamczatski kraj. Odprawiam się сейчас w TDC. Oh, holy shit, it's a huge area code. Chattanooga, Knoxville, and Johnson City. It's like the entire eastern half of the state. Okay, that's bloody useless. Well, I mean, okay, we've got the state. If this gets too boring, I can always just do a wild guess, though I like to be precise. Okay, go all natural. Oh, I see, I've already zoomed in so much. Subway. Eat stank. Auto Dream Makers. If you want your dreams to be automatic. Ooh, go all natural Hardee's? Oh, shit. Yeah, I mean, all natural in the sense that they may not even have actually properly cooked it. It's probably raw. We had a Hardee's near where I was growing up, thing caught fire. And the joke was that it was the first time they ever served a hot meal. Nobody was in there when it happened. What is it? But wow, that place sucked. Roselawn Memorial Park. Okay, by my rules, I can go and check out Roselawn Memorial Park in Tennessee and see whether that gets me anything. Memory Gardens? Shit. Memorial Park. No, Memorial Park, definitely. Okay, that puts us in Murfreesboro. Oh, I know a guy from Murfreesboro. Okay, where's that? Ah, there we go. So, Murfreesboro. Tazewell, there's a great name. Bristol, where the fuck did they get the idea that a landlocked town in Tennessee was anything to do with Bristol? Oh, we're in North Carolina already. Bumpus Mills. Red Boiling Springs sound like a place you might want to take a swim? That's static. Well, I guess it hasn't moved. Oh. Yes, I am MST3K'ing the map. Xenophone. That's it. Murfreesboro? Wait. Murfreesboro area code. That's 615, though. South Roan Street? I've seen Roan Street in here, okay. They don't know what their own fucking cemetery's called. Or Google doesn't. Okay, so Johnson City it is. That makes sense, because Johnson City is 423. Asbury. Texas Roadhouse. Rotary Park. I guess it spins along. Lawn John Lawn Care. The first association you get with that is that they're going to take a shit in your lawn, which immediately makes me think of JonTron, because he's a shit. Student Quarters, Johnson City. Betty Basler Field. Okay, come on, there's gotta be something around here. Gypsy Trail Trail. God. A lot of Pentecostal churches in a place that sounds like it's the name of a gay club. Fuck it. Spent way too much time in suburban-ass Tennessee. 2.3 miles. Okay, place with transport. Okay, the color of this train makes me think Germany, yes. Cakecompany.de. Dachbeschichtung. Okay, roofers. Feuerwehr, Freiheiten. Okay, that doesn't really help me any, except that's where the fire department has to park. L-Mühle. Dreifachspitze. Bringt 5 Megapixel mehr Schärfe in ihr Leben. L-Mühle is, I mean, that looks like a medieval city seal. Never heard of L-Mühle though. Elbow mill. Sounds lovely. Zentrum Rheinbrücken. Okay, Rheinbrücken, that helps me. Oh, more link spam with Russian names. Inga Danilova. Artyevila. Danilova. Okay, Rheinbrücken. Well, it's gonna be someplace in the west. Never heard of Rheinbrücken. Köln Arena. Okay, Köln Arena. We're in Köln. I know where this is. Zweitbestes Bier in NRW. Grevenbrüch, Frechen, Bergisch Gladbach, Leverkusen. Kalk. Nippel. Stommel. Museum für geklaute ostasiatische Kunst. Deutz, Eduardus, Rheinbrücken, and there's the airport off to the right, and Kalk. Where? I just saw Kalk. Kalk, wo bist du denn? Kalk. St. Pantaloon. Time. Oh, it's Dortmund. I thought that was Düsseldorf. Duisburg, Düsseldorf. There we go. And 1.2 miles. Okay. Got a billboard. We are expert confidential care. Planned Parenthood. Okay. US or Canada then. 440 East Broadway. Broadway is kind of meaningless. This could be Cincinnati. Campus in... Yeah, seriously. Is this gonna turn out to be fucking Cincinnati? Interstate I-5. No, no, no. Where the hell's I-5? Is that east down the East Coast? Well, let's see if we can get more, get a little bit closer. Highland, Springfield, oh, I-5, is that in Oregon? I mean, I admit I have had a little bit of prompting at this point. I-5, Springfield, we are in Eugene-ish. Okay. By the Campus Inn. God, that could be Cincinnati, though. It looks so much like the way into downtown Cincinnati. West End Performance. Roaring Rapids Pizza Company. Denny's. And 2.1 miles. Okay. This looks actually a little bit like Australia. Oh, we got a sign. It'll tell me a lot. Well, it will tell me things. I'm not gonna do local traffic only. It's a local town for local people. Bustle Highway. Okay, white street signs? That's also making me think Australia. And it's near something called the Bustle Highway. They have things that they call highways there, and freeways, and motorways. Oh wait, there's a flag. It's an Australian flag. There we go. We are in Australia, and we're in a green part of Australia. Not many of those. I mean, it helps that the population centers in Australia are almost all on the coast. You can count them easily. Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra, Brizzy, Cairns, Adelaide, Mount Gambier, Perth, Darwin, Alice, which is like the only one, Hobart, Newcastle. Okay, the easiest thing to do, since there are so few major population centers in Australia, is find out which one is near the Bustle Highway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not Melbourne, because I would have heard of that. So let's start with Perth. Something Perth about that. Great Eastern Highway, that's right, they like to name things great there. Great Eastern Highway Bypass, Kalamunda Road. Inaloo. Okay. Maybe not. Maybe let's look for a little bit more. Vast diversion drain. No fishing, no swimming, no canoeing. And no letter S. It doesn't say what local authority it is. And I think that's unfortunate. I know that people are playing GeoGuessr based on these songs. Okay. Yeah, very coastal feel here. Feels like somebody's summer place. Bustleton. That means absolutely fuck all to me. Osborne Park, Hillary's, Midlands, Byford, Secret Harbour, Carnap, Carolup. Lots of places. Let's see, what's anything like that around bloody Adelaide? Woodcroft, Lonsdale Road, Darlington, Bunnings Mile End, Nordbugger, Tea Tree Gully, One Tree Hill, Hot Nest, Smithspell, okay, let's try Brizzy, because I feel like if it were bloody Sydney or Melbourne, I would have heard of Bustleton by now. Timpama, Helensvale, Hope Island, Chambers Flat. Okay, return to start, I think, actually. Because I got lost in there someplace and... Okay, so that's a coastal road. That takes me to a body of water. This takes me away from water. And now... Yes, okay, let's move away from where there's no access to the Bustle Highway. Give way. King Street. Can't have 5 people together living together in Australia without one of them being called King Street. One of them living on something called King Street. Come on, there's gotta be... something that says the state. Warren Davies, 0402 area code. Townsville, Queensland. Gotta. Gary, Cabochua, Jaguar, Mount Delaney, Sunshine Coast, Lava, Michelson, fuck it, someplace in Queensland. What the... I was right the first time. It was in Western Australia. Only 2,207 miles off of the correct location. Okay, this is round 5 of 5. And I feel like this is Paris. No, this is someplace Spanish speaking. Arreglo de jardín. Es dul sandwiches de miga. Fuente Inmobiliaria Argentina. Estamos en Argentina. Okay. We are probably in Buenos Aires. This just looks... Lotería de la provincia de... Doesn't say. Central Oeste, farmacia. Olexin. Yeah, but I am fairly certain we are La Primera Alborada, S.A. This has gotta be Buenos Aires. This just feels like Buenos Aires. Arce, estudios jurídicos, Wills and Trusts. Oh wait, street name. Casero. Vigre. Streets mean nothing to me. La Querencia. Santa Birra. Funeral home. Maxi Kyoko, Pepino. Ok. La canastita. Ferretería Winkel 2. Okay. I'm gonna say this is someplace in Buenos Aires and then we're gonna move on. 8 miles off. Where was it? Flores. How low did I do? 20,000. Not too bad. Better than last night. Okay, and with that, we're going to move on. I'm going to show you a little bit about the new direction that I'm taking on my language-related channel. See, when I'd started this out, I'd felt sort of compelled to do instructive material. And the thing about doing instructive material is a lot of people have like better instructive material than I do on more general topics, and I just don't feel inspired about it. But then I ran across a Japanese language content creator called Dogen. And what he does is he mostly just does like comedy video type things in Japanese. And then for people who are on his Patreon, he has courses on Japanese phonetics that are really good. So I thought that's a model I could work with. I just sort of bullshit around on main and then just occasionally put out an educational video for a course that I'm selling. And so I thought, okay. So I'm just going to show you my current direction. It is graphic short stories. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit. And this one is called A Practical Introduction to Chilean Immigration Law. There are so far 4 chapters, one I haven't uploaded yet. Hello, me. Drawings all by me, which is why the faces aren't any good. Not gonna watch the entire thing, but I'm gonna give you a feeling for it. I have these in Spanish and English subtitles. 到着直後、ここの入管法6法の本を買って読みました。このような
入管法違反をしないためなんでした。在留期間の条文を間違って記憶してしまいまして、延長はしなかった、それだけのこと。ご安心ください。ひどいことはしませんよと。私の発言が別に意味のない言い訳かのように話題を変えようとした。それでもぜひ調書に留めておいていただきたいです。国の入管法を守るためになるべく努力したこと、声がなかったこと、刑事さんにそう言われて初めてオーバーステイのことを知ったこと、罰金で済むもんなんですよこれ。ご安心くださいよ。嘘つけ。後で知ったことだ。行政処分通知書を手に入れます。処分通知書を持って。
So this takes me through. This is a story of the extremely disastrous circumstances that followed from me misremembering a provision of Chilean immigration law and accidentally overstaying my visa the last time I was there, when I was trying to leave. And it is full of highly entertaining disasters. Disasters that become much more entertaining once you're about 5 years past them.
私はうなずいて、今何時でしょうと聞く。早く済ませればまた飛行機に乗れるかと。甘い。もう14時過ぎですから、悪いけど今日はもうダメです。営業時間は14時までですから。請求書を渡す相手はお金を受け取る相手と違うことには慣れていた。そんな込み入った支払い方法はチリでよくあることだから。でもオーバーステイの罰金を空港で支払えないだけでなく、出国するための在留資格回復は行われるのは14時までだという。
Making sure that we don't have any lag in the chat.
ブエノスアイレス行きのチケットはもう水の泡だ。幸いなことにブエノスアイレスで3日泊まる予定だったから、メデジンまでの乗り継ぎはまだ大丈夫だ。とはいえより重大な問題はある。南米内便は例外なく高い。
So
米国行きの便が出発する。
I'm releasing roughly one of these a week. I'm a little bit behind on episode 4 of this one, which is the second to last. But this is a thing that I'm doing on my other channel. I'm going to just give you a link in the chat to that channel. Easiest way to find it. And I hope to see some of you there. Okay, and with that, we're going to move over onto the chud dunkering. Only the best beans. Okay, take that off of here. Did I... Okay, and make sure, let me know if the video is too quiet when I get that turned on. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. Oh, that happens. Hope your dinner was good.
I'm just saying the hypothetical a person who did that would have to take responsibility for the role that they played in that.
Okay, yes, we've already heard about Foch and Xander Hole both explaining how they couldn't possibly imagine that any of their assholes fan base could possibly be harassing the people they specifically sicked them on. So we can kind of skip.
The thing is that I do take it seriously, and having taken it...
Dude. I think...
Dude.
Unironically, a significant amount of leftists unironically believe that morally, if you, like, went on the street and punched the first person you saw in the face, if you punched the white guy in the face, and that was the first person you saw, they would consider that less bad than if the person you happened to punch in the face was black.
Oh, well, I mean,
feel like...
See, this is actually, like, slightly more camouflaged racism than we get from Foch, but I knew that was going to be coming. They are the anti-SJ crowd.
Like,
I mean, I wonder, Xander Hall's. Somebody was remarking yesterday on his dye job, and for me, what that reminds me of is that was like the official coming out hairstyle of gay guys in the 1990s, in my experience. When a guy dyed his hair this way, a week later you were introduced to the boyfriend. And I haven't seen that particular dye job on guys since then, really, in like 30 years. Okay.
Saying a slur is when you're reading a quote or a name. Like, that's probably the least yikes for worthy, like, context, right?
Can never...
Besides acting, okay? I think acting is by far the most...
Oh, okay, we need to see
morally,
this.
If you, like, went on the street and punched the first person you saw in the face, if you punched the white guy in the face, and that was the first person you saw, it was bad, and that's how I learned of it, and so it's just, like, not a word that I use. No, you said it. The only time I think I could have said it was when there was a particular YouTuber, who's a true scum YouTuber, who goes by the name, I shit you not, the offensive T-slur. And I believe I might have...
Okay.
Actually,
this is just totally normal leftist content
this
right
was back
here.
in like 2019. That might have been it, I think. Yeah, I that might have been the one case where I did.
Spike
cringe.
from Puffy.
I mean, that's one of the most defensible cases for saying a slur is when you're reading a quote or a name. Like, that's probably the least...
you're in just a totally normal, totally above board leftist space when they just apropos of fuck all start talking about when it's okay to say slurs.
Thanks for worthy, like, context, right?
Can never...
Besides acting, okay? I think acting is by far the most excusable
yes,
context.
gotta get the
right?
acting
If you're playing
in.
a character in a movie or something, obviously it's fine, right? Like, depending on the movie, of course, right? If it's why Hitler was good for, then maybe not that movie.
Oh, and that's some foreshadowing right there.
But, like, if it's a movie about, like, slavery...
Considering what Fosh is going to tell us fairly soon.
No, T, it's okay. It's, the T slur is just T, the letter T, and then slur.
Never find evidence of real harassment. Either it's just people...
Oh, he's
being
still
mean
on
to
this.
them,
This
which,
is
again,
40
I'm totally
minutes
okay
in.
with. And I don't
What
think
do you
that's...
consider? I mean, like I don't know. What you don't think that if somebody's if a bunch of people are coming forward and it seems like a pattern of behavior, because you said it's a pattern of behavior, and you're having to investigate it all the time. I mean, I don't have this problem. I don't have to go out launching investigations with like a crack mod NSA team to go do like, investigations. Because I'm not constantly hearing from people that when I talk about
he's a
that they're
gamer.
getting a bunch.
Yes, a totally normal thing to have to do as a streamer, to launch investigations into which of your fans is now harassing the fuck out of people.
Of harassment over race and gender and sexuality and that kind of thing. But that's what I'm hearing people say about your audience. So what's the? I don't know the
It's a
difference
good thing I
between my
investigated. Wait, hold on.
platform
Somebody
and-
just linked a tweet where Luna is essentially calling...
God, what is he, the fucking cops? Yeah, well, you investigate themselves, and it turns out that they aren't guilty. Yeah, okay, Vosh gets kicked off platforms for saying a word that it should be totally okay to say on platforms, for fuck's sake. But not for saying pedophilia can be good for children. I haven't heard him say that exactly, but it wouldn't surprise me considering what he has said on the subject.
Pedophile. I think I'm okay with the meme. I usually try to proportion it to my dislike for people.
Okay, I'm calling this out right now because this is something that's way too fucking enabled on the left, okay? So many fucking people will just look at the surface level interaction between somebody.
See, yes, and then you look at the deeper interaction and it turns out what they said still really fucking sucked. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see the quote is right there, and unless the context was that he was saying this is an example of somebody that you would not necessarily want to have around kids, might say, then there's no context in which that's a good thing to be saying.
Decide who they think is in the right without giving a shit about the context of the situation, and it happens all the fucking time. And
the context is he keeps saying shit like this.
Always ends up bad, and you end up just enabling this type of shit. So
which type of shit? The bit where people do do like fucking apologetics for child sex abuse, or the bit where it's apparently we're supposed to think that it's not okay to say that that's fucked up?
I'm willing to bet EJ didn't know about this tweet.
Wasn't the original hypothetical some bizarre thing where he was trying to say that buying a t-shirt that was made using child labor was exactly the same thing, no better or worse, than actually, consuming child pornography or making it? Mago stonks. Oh, yeah, totally normal.
Even though Luna Oi is his wife, I'm willing to bet EJ probably didn't know about this tweet, and I feel like he just got blindsided by it.
Well, what, except, outside of your fucking bubble, what exactly was wrong with calling that shit out?
But this right here is an example of EJ just was not informed on the actual interaction that had occurred. And this is important. There's a huge difference.
I can't... See, I mean, he's setting this up as if there's any reason that EJ should somehow feel apologetic, feel bad about this. And so I don't think that's how this is going to play out.
Massive difference between Vosh was vitriolic towards Luna Oi because he disagrees with her politically and decided to just come out of nowhere and drop like the hammer.
The hammer being something that Vosh has said repeatedly and sucked every time.
There's a big difference between
it is revolting.
Vosh retaliated against someone falsely calling him a pedophile. All right, once someone starts throwing
oh shit, my headphones are
pedophilia allegations at you and you're an online figure, that's
okay, the thing is, why would you retaliate when the allegations are fucking true? And it's not just a one-off thing where you could say, okay, maybe he misspoke or something. No, he didn't fucking misspeak. He explained this stuff at great length. And actually, I mean, again, Bad Empanada has a video where he goes through the entire context, and there is literally nothing redeeming about it. And yeah, I mean, what was said there about Lua, and of course, Fosh isn't calling that shit out. Although I lose track whose fucking chat is what here. They're two fucking chats.
That's no holds barred, okay? When you're a public figure on the internet, the P word, getting called the fucking P word...
Just cause you endorsed the fucking P word and said the fucking P word was maybe a good thing for kids?
That shit can be career-ending, depending on, like, who says it and the...
Well, in this case, Fosh said it, repeatedly. And it hasn't ended his career. It doesn't even seem to have fucking hurt his career. And it hasn't even stopped you defending it.
Context of how they say it. That is, like, those are, like... It's fight to the death on Twitter now, okay? Once you start throwing that insult around, okay?
Insult? It's a fact. There's a literal quote right there. There's a literal quote right in this tweet that she has quote tweeted. So the idea is, if you, stan child sex abuse, and somebody calls you out on it, truthfully, accurately, then you get to just say whatever the fuck you want about them, as opposed to saying, wow, that was a fucked up thing I just said?
I feel like...
I know the tweet you're talking. Do you want to read the tweet and tell me exactly what it says?
Vosh gets kicked off of platforms for saying cracker, but not for saying pedophilia can be good for children. Sick fucking world.
Which is an exact quote that you said.
No.
Yeah, I'm not hearing the bit where supposedly EJ was blindsided by this horrible thing that his wife supposedly did. Yeah, he's got a whole video out on the Fosh's defense of this that completely destroys any idea that this has been taken out of context.
It's not.
You play the video that it's linked to. Tell me that it's not.
The video cuts me off mid-sentence.
Yeah, see, he's not unprepared. He's not blindsided here. He knows about this. I mean, people do actually talk with their significant others, and I get the impression just my general impression from watching her on stream on video, that when Luna sees some fucked up shit, she tells you about it. I don't think that he was blindsided by this, and he's responding exactly the way, I mean, he's very cool, and he's quite right to be.
Literally
I
cuts
didn't
me
say
off
cut
in
you off.
between.
You did say that, though. She referenced something you actually said.
Yes!
Hold on.
You could defend yourself and say that that was taken out of context or whatever, but she didn't call you a pedophile, and she was referencing something you actually said, which is a...
Yes! Yeah, see, I knew that, he's like, oh yeah, poor EJ, the wife is talking out of school again or whatever. I mean, sexist as fuck as well. I mean, apart from everything else. But like, he's going to be blindsided by this, and of course everybody fucking knows it. People talk. When he said that shit, people talked about it.
It's a different situation than being vitriolic towards people for absolutely no
So
reason.
do you think
whatsoever.
that signal boosting misinformation with the intent of sort of painting a person as a pedophile?
What misinformation? I mean, it's signal boosting one of many accurate quotes with the intent of pointing out that he says really fucked up shit on the subject. Boosting misinformation. Fucking
Vosh, I
chutzpah.
love you, buddy, but you gotta be so careful. Literally.
Oh yeah, you've got to be so careful. Poor Vosh. I mean, do we all know how this can be? You fucking. I mean, will he who's without sin cast the first stone in criticizing Vosh for saying that CSA is an okay thing?
Everybody on the internet is just sitting there with OBS open, trying to find some way to do. You guys remember?
We don't need OBS open because it's already happened. He puts the fucking videos on YouTube, Xander Hole. This isn't some like secret shit. I mean, maybe your viewers have somehow avoided noticing it, or more likely, they probably just don't care.
Remember that one live action Scooby Doo movie, and it's the scene where like the
Speaking of children,
news station is like cutting up Fred's words to mean like just literally.
this wasn't cutting up anyone's words, and it wasn't somebody else cutting them. This was Vosh cutting up Vosh's words to say what Vosh wanted Vosh to be saying.
Really nothing close to what he actually said.
Okay, so you're gonna. This is the scoop right here. This is the scoop. He is going to show us what Vosh really said, and it's going to turn out it was totally innocuous, nothing to do with CSA. He was probably just ordering a pizza. Watch, this is going to be really fucking hard.
Like we're getting to the stage where like that's the kind of shit people are constantly hovering there trying to do.
But you're going to show us, right? I mean, you're going to show us. You're a streamer. You're supposed to show people things. You're saying this happened. Show us how it happened.
And while they are fucked up about it, you do have to.
They're fucked up. Oh yeah. I mean, it's funny how touchy people are about this subject.
You do have to eventually be like, all right, it's time to maybe
Jesus,
not
we're not even gonna get to the anti-Semitism at this rate.
talk about Coolsville, you know? Like, for me, there are no clips out there, as far as I'm aware, that anybody could use, even, like, if they're...
Yeah, I beg to differ. I've got a few of your clips right there, and I didn't have to cut them either, because you don't actually see anything that you're saying is particularly bad, because you are unreconstructed fash that has found a little fucking hidey hole in a left space with a reactionary so-called leftist streamer who is kind of okay with CSA and okay with being horrible to people who point it out rather than just apologizing for saying something fucked up.
They're clipping it up dishonestly to make me look like a pedophile or anything like that.
Okay, I don't know of anything like that, but I mean, racist? Yeah, I mean, plenty of racist stuff. You just did racism, like, I think 20 minutes ago in the stream.
Which is good, because I'm very careful about what I say and make sure nothing gets, like, misinterpreted on my part.
See, that's one to clip, because he's very careful what he says, so when he says something racist, it's not by accident.
But, obviously what Vosh was doing was pointing out like a very interesting moral gray area in our
Moral gray area? I see, I thought you were saying that everything was clipped up dishonestly and he didn't say anything like that, and now you're not showing us a video? Was that not true, Xanderhole? Was that not true, what you said?
society, or not a
I'm
moral gray
disappointed.
area, but almost a moral hypocrisy that we're kind of all okay with, for very emotional reasons. Not
Yeah, where, you mean where your favorite streamer says some seriously fucked up shit? And rather than calling that out and admitting that your fave is problematic, you just decide to go with it and come up with ways to justify it, like fucking verbal acrobatics?
not that it's wrong, like that it's emotional. It is probably a good thing that we're so emotional about it. We need to protect children.
Yes, including from Vosh.
But it's worth
Judging
talking
from what he
about
says.
that. But unfortunately, you just can't do that on the internet. You can't have those conversations online. People are too quick on the trigger. People are just too damn quick.
Yeah, I mean, he only had to say it 5 different times at great length in order for people to start saying, wow, that was kind of fucked up, and pointing it out. And see, again, I noticed earlier on, yesterday, the portion of the stream we looked at yesterday, he was on about how people need to just get over it. Just because you have like 100 racist suckholes filling your mentions and filling your DMs and telling you should probably do some kind of self-harm or something like that, that's not harassment. Just because people are going to be mean. People are sometimes going to be mean. You just need to get over it, he was saying. And now, because somebody quoted him accurately saying something fucked up, now this is having their finger on the fucking trigger. Clearly there are blanks in that fucking magazine, though, because he's still got a fucking stream.
Click on the trigger, and they'll make assumptions about you, and there are people acting in bad faith that'll do really fucked up things to try.
Yeah, like there's this guy Fosh, for example. I mean, maybe you heard of him, Xanderhole. He's this dishonest guy. He does fucked up things with people, taking their shit out of context and text, and sometimes just lying.
Try to misrepresent what you actually believe or who you actually are.
You mean like saying that fucking Professor Flowers literally supports genocide and wants to see Jews exterminated, like Fosh did?
Isn't, like, it's interesting that you would take issue with...
This stream is way more interesting than Bosch's right now.
Actually, I was kind of interested to know what he was going to try to be morally indignant about
Gray
here.
Sand Dragon, that is... Gray Sand Dragon, that is always true. My stream is always way more interesting than Bosch's. People just haven't realized it yet. But don't worry. If you like the stream and subscribe, as I grow and surpass everybody who came before and after me, and reach the #1 spot as the most subscribed YouTuber on the planet, you can say that you subscribed before I even hit 100,000 subs. Alright? Whether you join or not, that's still happening. But the difference is, you'll be able to brag that you followed me before I even hit 100,000 subs.
And what's really fucked up with Fosh is that he brings up this sort of CSA stuff in an apologetic context, apropos of nothing. He just randomly brings it up. It isn't like somebody else brought it up and he ended up reluctantly having the discussion. He was the one who brought it into the discussion.
Before I even hit 1 billion subs, okay? But you would be able to brag about subscribing to Xanderhall before he hit 1 billion subs. Wouldn't that be amazing?
I wouldn't brag, though. I mean...
Amazing.
Saying a person's a stepchild of the country that they're from. But the idea of, like, signal boosting, disingenuous, far-right, pedo-jacketing.
Oh, you mean sort of like Fosh does? It said signal boosting, disingenuous, far-right content. Like Fosh does.
That was...
And disingenuous, far-right little prepubescent ass wipes like Xanderhole.
Literally cut off mid-sentence isn't itself bad faith or disingenuous. Like, that's really weird to me. I don't understand. is it like a perceived vulnerability thing because my community
Well,
is
there is
large?
there is a power differential for one thing.
A perceived vulnerability of his community. You mean the fact that your community says lots of seriously fucked up shit, and so a quote of some seriously fucked up shit that's from your community has the whiff of truth to it. That
is true, but also that's not the only thing. The other thing is, she wasn't just talking about you, she was talking about the way platforms work. I think that you would agree that getting kicked off for saying cracker was ridiculous, right? Do you agree with that?
I would agree
So
that calling me a pedophile is being vitriolic.
She didn't call you a pedophile, though if you actually act according to the beliefs that you have stated, Vosh, then it would be, if you were being consistent with your beliefs, you're either a pedo or a hypocrite at this point.
I don't think there's any working around that.
She didn't call you a pedophile. She didn't call you a pedophile.
EJ.
EJ, here you are pointing out fucking actual facts into the disingenuous space. Don't you know that this is the bullshit zone? Don't you know that the only person who gets to be the victim is Vosh, no matter what shit comes out of his mouth? Here you go making fact checks like they matter. Oh, how cute.
EJ. Is he dumb or is he being dishonest? It's really hard to tell.
No, neither. He just pointed out. I mean, we can disagree about the wisdom of going on this fucking stream on this Fosh platform and thinking that a worthwhile discussion is there to be had. We can disagree about the wisdom of that, but he wasn't being dishonest. He was just pointing out a fact inconvenient to Fosh and his fucking victimhood.
Like, how do you not have... How old is EJ? He's been on the internet for a long... He's got gray in his beard. He's got gray in his facial hair. There is a decent amount of gray that I see in his hair. And unless he's dyeing that...
Wait, I don't see any fucking gray.
Like, dyeing it like that, then he's on the older side of things, okay? He said he's...
So the fuck what?
In his 30s, and he's already going... I mean, I guess you get gray hairs in your 30s. Yeah.
Patrick Stewart lost all of the hair on his scalp in his 20s and was gray by his early 30s.
Yeah. Okay, he's in his 30s. He has been on the internet long enough to know that
you don't fact check Vosh because Vosh has a license to lie.
Even saying a public figure's name and even having that name anywhere close to pedophilia.
Well, then maybe that public figure shouldn't have been putting his name so fucking close to it. I mean, maybe that was the way you should go about this, because nobody would have been able to say shit about Vosh and CSA. Nobody could have said shit about Vosh and any kind of child abuse if Vosh hadn't made apologetics for it repeatedly apropos of fuck all.
Anywhere close to that, you might as well just say that figure's a pedophile. That's how the internet works, okay? It's called telephone, okay? It's called abstraction. It's how the internet works. If you say...
no, that's just how lying works, actually.
This person... if you tweet, like, you could start with, yeah, Vosh said poorly worded a moral comparison between the...
Oh, it was poorly worded. Okay, word it better for us. Word it better for us, Sanderhold. Show you how it would be okay to suggest that acquiring clothes that one needs because, well, you need something on your body in order to protect you from the elements and also to avoid getting arrested for fucking indecent exposure. How that is the same as fucking getting off on the rape of children.
The exploitation of children in sweatshops that produce a certain, thing that we consume in our society that we're totally cool with. We're totally fine with children being exploited there. We're totally fine consuming those products. And
well, you speak for yourself, Vosh. I'm not actually okay with it. See, some of us actually are trying to abolish exploitation as opposed to trying to become a celebrity on the strength of having recently kind of reconsidered being branded as a Nazi.
Cool, it's all good, but we've got a very emotional response to CP. which is a good.
Which is because it's not actually comparable. If somebody is fucking jerking off to footage of kids in fucking sweatshops in Indonesia or Haiti or any of the places where kids are doing like fucking piecework for fuck all money, show me somebody who's actually jerking off to that, apart from Matt Iglesias, who, I mean, his columns on the subject, he seems like he's kind of jerking off to it, so he's an example. Sorry, I should have thought about neoliberalism. There are entire fucking op-ed pages of people jerking off to that. But, yeah, not that... Show me somebody, and then we can talk about it, that's comparable.
Thing, because we want to protect children, of course. I mean, that's how society functions. We have to protect our children, especially from people that would, violate them. And...
Or people who suggest that maybe violating them isn't such a bad thing after all. Forcing people to circle the same part of Azeroth for 16 hours straight? I don't remember this. When was this? This is World of Warcraft, I'm guessing. But I think I wasn't there for this, because for much of the past decade I haven't had a... Oh, that explains it. Because I didn't play... Yeah, when do these fuckos care about anything but themselves? Have you seen my 10-year challenge? Left panel, Vosh. Right panel, present-day Steve Bannon.
You want to have that conversation, but the internet's just not capable of it, okay?
What is it about these people? When they say fucked up shit, and they get called on it, and then they say, oh, the problem is the internet. The problem is the internet isn't a good place to have this discussion. Yeah, except there are plenty of people having this discussion in a non-fucked up way on the internet. Maybe the problem is that having this discussion with you and Fosh is not a good idea. Oh, more of this link spam. Tagir Alexandrov. Atiebilsa.
The internet will abstract everything. It's telephone.
Non-compete.
The worst game of telephone.
Come on.
Did it? She said that.
Yeah, come on, why are you fact-checking me? You know I lie.
What she said that she thinks that what you said in that clip is worse than saying cracker.
I mean, if you cut together a bunch of words...
Yeah, so we're having the same argument here. It's like they're fucking... like they're reading each other's minds. They cut together a bunch of words. So show us what the actual sentence was, where those words were cut together from. And why you personally cut them together, because I've seen it directly on your fucking stream.
Different streams and arranged them in a way to implicate me, and then looked at that and said, huh, look at that, that's interesting. That wouldn't technically be calling...
Yeah, it's interesting how you keep bringing that shit up and never manage to say something about it that makes you seem at all like a human being.
I don't know what to say. I can just tell you that to me there's a difference between quoting what somebody actually said in a specific context when you're commenting on a platform versus...
Oh my god. Holy shit, Devin.
What happened? Fuck it, holy shit, man. Dude, game over, man. There's nuance here. Well, how are you gonna bring up the factual accuracy, man? That's churlish, man. Game over, man.
Takar in Vosh's chat is spot on. This is the Mexi convo all over again. I fucking watched
I
the
don't know
Mexi
what
convo.
that is, but I'm guessing if it means that Fosh got cut out in a really blatant lie, and Xander Hole acted indignant because somebody pointed out what the lie was, then I would agree it's comparable.
I'm sure Vosh unlisted that stream afterwards because she asked him not to upload it because it was so embarrassing for her. She basically just made Mexi. Do you not know who Mexi is? Mexi is a lefty YouTuber, and basically she went on Vosh's stream back in I lived in Florida. I remember I listened.
Florida man finds ways to lie to justify his friend justifying CSA. Okay, I haven't heard of Mexi. Is this Mexi stream that was unlisted? Was this the one where Vosh gets super transphobic, or is this something totally different?
into the stream on my phone while picking weeds in the yard because I needed something to listen to while doing yard work, and I lived in Florida. So it was either 2019, it would have been 2020 probably, like early 2020. Yeah, that conversation was embarrassing. She basically spent the whole time literally doing abuse, like literally abuse apologia.
What? So is that where Foch learned it from? Is it like that anti-drug ad from the 80s? Where did you learn to do this, son? I learned it from you, Dad!
As long as the people doing the abusive behavior are part of a marginalized group. And she looked really bad afterwards.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Vosh browbeating her and putting words in her mouth and fucking around with her, like he does, that's his entire debating strategy, had absolutely nothing to do with making her look bad.
Asked Vosh did not upload it. I wonder if it's still on the internet somewhere. If you can find it, I highly recommend it.
That is, yeah. That's fucked up. So he's just, apropos of nothing, decides to start a fucking dog pile on Mexi.
So Professor Flowers, Professor Flowers, if Professor Flowers wasn't as slippery as
she's slippery because she paid close enough to attention not to let that Vosh just fucking lie and put words in her mouth.
Professor Flowers is very slippery and is very good at manipulating an audience and like sort of, playing the victim. Mexi didn't.
Yeah, it's almost like you just lie about her. You just commit what is definitely actionable libel, even when the target is a public figure, and people just look like a victim just because you said some really racist stuff and lied a lot.
Do a very good job of that, and just.
I think every single thing about Xanderhold becomes a lot easier to understand when you just eliminate the idea from your head that he is in any way reformed from his time as a Nazi, because so little of what he says is fundamentally inconsistent with that ideology and that culture. So little of it.
Off is like,
welcome to capitalism, my dude.
So kind of like she's so dumb that she's advocating for abuse, like abusive behavior. I don't think she stands by what she said, though, considering the fact she had Vosh take the debate down. I imagine she probably changed her mind following that.
Yeah, it sounds like probably she had a lot of words in her mouth and she didn't know which way was up, because that's how these debate bros act.
So, yeah. Though I will say Mexi doesn't follow me on Twitter, and that is an indication that somebody is probably not good, okay?
Well, yes, you're not good. You're very not good, Xanderhole. You suck.
If someone doesn't like me, then they're probably cringe, alright? I don't know why, but that's usually been...
or just, a Jewish or of color, or otherwise somebody a Nazi doesn't like.
Barometer that I've followed my whole life, and it's never steered me wrong. It has yet to steer me wrong. Crafter Lula, thank you for the tier 3 gifted sub, the Josh Kiss. Thank you. This is a tip for being such a long-time viewer. Wait, Crafter Lula, how much was that? That was a tier 3. Thank you so much. 20? Ah, thank you. Wow, you guys are really being generous today. We're at 332.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing that really makes me decide that, and as somebody who's really sincere in their regret for having made the monumentally bad political, moral, and philosophical judgment of being a Nazi in the first place, and the fact that they decide to monetize the fact that they thought the better of it.
On the total goal. Not 332 made today, but like combined yesterday and today, 332.
It's not actually quoting me,
stepchild of Vietnam.
It's not quoting
which
me.
Is really just an insult.
It is quoting you, though.
The fact that she's Vietnamese. That's the only tangible piece of evidence about her identity that you addressed, or even you didn't address her positions. You addressed like you didn't call her a nationalist. You called her a stepchild of Vietnam.
In a section where I was hold on, this would be a lot easier for you if you didn't form your opinions based exclusively off the Twitter clips.
Yeah, except the thing is that he's forming his opinions about the shit in the Twitter clips, and the shit in the Twitter clips sucks.
video
I
where you
don't have
can
an opinion about whether
you
or
can
not you're a
find
pedophile, Josh.
the section.
I
No,
don't.
I'm talking about the stepchild.
Oh, he doesn't want to even. He's just moved past. He doesn't want to even show us how supposedly these statements were chopped together from different streams and all this bullshit. He just wants to move over to something else.
I have an opinion on whether or not I'm a pedophile, and it's that the people who go out of their way to call me one because they can't address my real arguments are
Except nobody. Okay, nobody called you one. And certainly nobody went out of their way. If anything, she went out of her way, Luna did, to avoid saying that, and instead just quoted you.
bottom-feeding scum. And I really, like, the idea that
Okay,
you would
but she
complain...
did address
Wait,
real
hold on,
audience.
hold on. The
Okay.
idea that
All
people would complain about vitriol. I mean, not even about, like, the arguments used, right? But, like, in terms of vitriol. And what? Because
There is so much fucked up shit going on here that we still haven't gotten to the part where Vosh endorses literal Nazi anti-Semitic propaganda, and it's almost 1 o'clock, and we still haven't gotten to the point where we get to see whether Xanderhol has the only acceptable reaction for an ex-Nazi who is really an ex-Nazi, which is to say, Jesus Christ, that's fucking appalling. I'm through with Vosh.
joke about her being a nationalist. Like, is stepchild like a slur now? This
Well, actually, yeah, sort of. I mean, it sort of devalues stepchildren, which isn't exactly great.
I
Out of
don't get it.
Vietnam, you did mention her nationality, which is I don't know her
Yeah.
ethnicity.
Yep, literally, it's if you mention nationality only matters if it's somebody who's from a country that has a majority non-white population. Okay, it's like in any other context, criticism of someone for
Could it have something to do with colonization and racism and the fact that the U.S. committed genocide there within living memory? Could that possibly be something to do with why that's not quite the same thing as having strong feelings about one's nationality when one's nationality is the country that did that shit?
simping for the government wouldn't be a problem, but it's because she's Vietnamese and it's the Vietnamese government. Now it's got to be a racial thing.
Well, also because it's Vosh, and Vosh is racist. And here's the thing. I mean, I kind of talked about this a bit yesterday, but there's a whole reason, completely unrelated to making the Vietnamese government look good or not, why it's important to be talking, as Luna has done quite in great detail, excellent work on the subject, about Vietnam's COVID measures and the results that they've gotten from them. And that is quite simply that the way our expectations have been managed, the reason that we have been told that we should just be kind of okay with the fact that going by excess fatality figures, since our official death toll is way low because there's just nowhere near enough testing to verify it, over 1 million people have needlessly died here. The reason that we are told, that we're convinced that that's okay, is because people tell us or imply very strongly that there's just no way that it could possibly be done better. That there is no way that no other way that it could be done. And what's being done in Vietnam, what's being done in China, New Zealand, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, and a number of other countries, it just shows that that is an absolute fucking lie. Vietnam had their first documented COVID case within 3 days of the U.S. Vietnam has a land border with China. They do not have anywhere near the kind of resources to draw from as the US or Britain or Western Europe. And despite all that, using just basic-ass public health 101 shit, increase mass production so everybody can have them, shut down sources of transmission, set up quarantine, find a way to let people be viable when self-isolating by bringing them food to their house, whatever. They managed to go for months and months and months with their cases in the double digits and their deaths in this not even one. And they have 1/3 the population of the U.S. roughly. So there's a reason to be talking about this that has nothing to do with fucking standing the Vietnamese government and everything to do with pointing out that that better is possible and that the U.S. government has just fucking left us for dead on this. But these people, I mean, like, Foch stands the U.S. government plenty. I mean, yeah, he had a whole thing where he's like, oh, God, it's terrible that the CIA's lost all these agents and shit. And, like, that's a bad thing. It's like, honestly, I would just lose more of them, honestly. Yeah, I mean, he stands the U.S. government fucking plenty. And with that, we are going to have to adjourn until next week. Thank you very much for coming, and please do check out, if you haven't already, the language channel, the other channel that I showed briefly here. I'm going to just put the link in chat again, so it shows up at the end for anyone who actually watches all the way through this stream when it's up on YouTube as a recording. Thank you, Phoenix Rising. Thank you, Andromeda Echo. Thank you, all the random link spammers with Russian names. Spasiba большое. Even you increase my views. I should not even block you because it actually probably does me good in the algorithm, but I think there's probably something dodgy going on there, so I'm not gonna. Okay, have a good night, all of you. Thank you for coming. See you on